All right, guys. So I had to take a little bit of time to kind of process this game. Wild game between Alabama and Florida. And before I start this video, I gotta give my props up to the Florida Gators. These guys played extremely hard, man. After being down 35-17, I know a lot of Bama fans thought the game was over. I know a lot of college football fans thought the game was over. Um, I knew Florida was gonna get their points. I knew Florida was gonna score over 30 points this game. I did not think, however, that Florida was going to completely dominate the second half the way we thought, the way I thought it was going to be. I just didn't expect them to dominate the second half. Um, but they offensively they dominated the second half. We had no answer at all to Kyle Pitts. Had no answer at all to Kadarius Toney in the first half. Grimes was able to come out there and he was able to put on a show. I know he beat Patrick Surtain on a go route, and Surtain was in good position, but Tony Grimes made the better play, and Kyle Trask just delivered a better ball. Kadarius Toney was just spot on all day. Like I said, we had no answer at all to their offense. I thought the first half Alabama did a pretty good job of getting them off the field. We was able to get some sacks. We was able to get some pressure on Kyle Trask. We was able to rush a lot. We was able actually to rush a lot, for sending an extra defender. And I felt like we did a good job of just mixing things up instead of just constantly just rushing three. The second half came, and I think as soon as Florida scored their first offensive drive, we just played just too conservative, man. I mean, we played really really conservative. We ran it for the most part. There were times where we actually went to a 3-2-6, and we would play quarters, and it would just bite us right in the ass. There were times where we were in a three. There were times where, again, we were just in that base nickel package, and we just couldn't do a damn thing. We had our safeties matched up with not Malachi Moore, but we had our safeties matched up with Kyle Pitts, with Kadarius Toney in the slot, and Florida would just go to it all the time. There were times where we had our linebackers matched up. I mean, there were times where I think there were times where we actually had Pat Surtain a little bit, kind of cheat inside a little bit and really try to cover that inside zone, and he just couldn't do a lick, man. I mean, this was just it was just awful to watch, man, from our secondary. I will give our pass rush credit, man. Will Anderson had two sacks, two very, very crucial sacks, man. Had the fumble recovery, which was recovered by Timothy Smith, that was able to give us a field goal, which gave us points off the turnover. We was able to get some hits on Kyle Trask, and of course Christian Harris was able to get the final sack. I'm not gonna say it was the game. I'll say it was kind of the game-winning sack. But man, I actually think this is the highest SEC scoring game. I think, no, I don't know. I might have to look at that Auburn Missouri game. I feel like that's probably the highest SEC scoring game. I have to look at that game back. But yeah, this is one of the highest scoring games in the SEC championship. And man, this was just, it went from an Alabama dominant win to a shootout in the second half. And if we would have lost this game, I don't know, this would have been one of the saddest losses ever. If we would have lost this game, because I don't know what Mac Jones could have done better. I don't know what Devontae Smith could have done better. I don't even know what Najee Harris could have done better. He had 5 touchdowns. So, and then of course we had Landon Dickerson, the captain of this offensive line. He was hurt. He was kind of thrown down after the play, and I don't think it was intentional because Landon Dickerson was still pushing it too. It was just thrown down a little bit. Those things happen, and you got the captain of our offensive line. He was injured, and you got players trying to cheer him up, players crying on the sideline, and he had a smile on his face the entire time, but you can just tell that I think he was hurt, and he's probably done for the rest of the year, which is going to hurt us in the playoffs. But just going back, we would have lost this game. Just all that effort, I just would have been pissed. I would have been pissed, and I would have been sad. Now I probably wouldn't even make this video, but thankfully was able to get the win. Once again, just props to Florida, props to Mullen, props to just getting his guys to fight. They could have easily quit in the second half like everybody else does, but they continue to fight, and they almost won the game. This game reminded me a lot of Alabama LSU last year. I thought that this game was very similar to last year, right? LSU had a huge lead on Alabama in the first half. Alabama had a huge lead on Florida in the first half. Alabama came back in the second half and they closed it down to 5 points. And Florida almost came back and they actually closed down the game to 6 points. And so, yeah, very, very similar games. Now, LSU ended up winning the national title. Alabama hopefully can do the same. But there's a lot to work on, man. There is a lot to work on with this Alabama group. Defensively, we have got to find a way to make adjustments in our secondary. We have got to find ways to just make it work because, Clemson, they don't have the passing attack that Florida. As a matter of fact, I don't think anyone does. No one has a Kyle Pitts. Kadarius Toney is a very, very special player in his own right. Tony Grimes is really, really good on the outside. Jacob Copeland, if he's on his best days, is an absolute stud too. And just the way Dan Mullen sets up his offense, this air raid type of offense that the Florida Gators have, man. When it comes to just having 5 receivers out, mostly shotgun, just the way he was just setting up our defense to kind of fail in the second half, and the fact that we just it was impossible for us to make adjustments. I don't think Clemson has that, but they're damn near close to it, man. Clemson has a running game. They got offensive line. We all know they got the quarterback. They got receivers on the outside. Even despite losing Justin Ross for the year, they still got playmakers on the outside. We have got to find a way to play better. Now, yeah, no one has a Kyle Pitts. No one has a Kadarius Toney on their team. I mean, maybe Amari Rodgers is the closest thing to a Kadarius Toney. And hopefully we'll have Jalen Waddle back. If not, then it is what it is. But yeah, man, this is it's a win. It's the SEC title. This is our 7th SEC title, but I am not feeling good going into the college football playoffs. If we rematch A&M, I think we'll beat A&M. If we go against Ohio State, I think that'll be a close game, but I think we'll beat Ohio State. But if we match up against Clemson, let's say in the national title, as of this moment, I don't feel good right now. I don't feel good because what I saw from our defense in the second half was just a defense that was lost. It was just nothing they can do. They just kind of failed to make adjustments, and they were just a couple of plays that the defense made that honestly it won us the game. But you look at the 3rd and 17 situations where we're playing quarters and we're playing very, very conservative. It was to a point where we rushed 3 for literally 3 series because every time we rushed 4 and 5, we couldn't get there. So we decided to just play conservative, and that didn't work. I mean, we had no answer at all to Dan Mullen's offensive unit in the second half, and that is really worrisome because that goes back to the Ole Miss game. That just goes back to the Ole Miss game, and look at the comparison between that game and this game. Ole Miss was a couple of mistakes away from winning that game. You talk about them not going for it on a 4th and 3 when we couldn't stop Ole Miss at all in the red zone, and then it was the botched snap. You take away those 2 plays, Ole Miss is probably winning that game against Bama. Probably. I'm not saying that they would, but that game probably would have went to the 70s or the 80s. This game, even though Alabama dominated in the first half, the second half came and we felt kind of lifeless. Offensively, we had some stalled drives, some really, really conservative play calling by Sarkisian, which really backfired on us. But there were just plays, man, where Florida, if they just would have capitalized on this opportunity here and there, you look at the fumbles that they had, Florida could have won this game, and that is really worrisome. Now, Florida's a good football team. They have the best offense in college football, in my opinion, or the best passing attack in all of college football. You have the best weapon in the receiving at the tight end position in Kyle Pitts, who's going to walk away with the John Mackey Award. But it is worrisome. It is very worrisome, man, if they do play Clemson, let's say in the national title. But prayers up to Landon Dickerson. I think he's done for the season, but I just want to thank him just for everything he's done for the University of Alabama since he's been here. He's been the captain. He's been the leader of this offensive line. He's been that swag, that bravado type of guy. He's just been a very special player, and I know there are players crying on the sideline. That should just tell you how just special he is. That's a big loss for us going into the playoffs, but we got to find a way. We got to find a way to rebound. We got Chris Owens. You got Darian Dalcourt you can put in there. You got some players. you got to find a way. And, this is football. This is what happens. We just got to find a way to push through. But, yeah, props up once again to the Florida Gators. These guys fought hard. I think that Kyle Trask definitely boosted his draft stock. Tony, Kadarius Toney, Kyle Pitts, those guys did a great job. And, those guys just continued to fight the entire game, and they almost came back and won. So just props to the Florida Gators. But if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the like button, share the video, subscribe, especially for more Alabama, more college football content. And, that's all I got for you guys. So anyway, Jen716, aka Gen Sports. I'll check you guys out later. Peace.